running late. Well, I'm not actually that late, I'm on time, but I'm late in my own head because I had plans to get work done before I started my workday. Does that make sense? And my demons won this time, and sleep was the more appealing option. I had this strong desire all weekend to do work because I have this feeling of impending doom and about being behind on my work. But over the weekend, I kept reminding myself that the world will not end if I don't get my work done over the weekend, if I do it on Monday. The thing is, I'm not going to actually have much time today to do any of my work because very last minute my boss signed me up for some training, and so I'm in this training course to learn how to use some tool, and it goes from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So the only time I really have to catch up on some work is the period right now, which is 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I'm sitting here talking to you, so I'm not being very productive and efficient with my time, am I? I've got to admit, I've been feeling quite anxious lately at work. In fact, last Friday, I was so anxious all day, but I was also nauseous, and I did go drinking Thursday night. I just chalked up that intense feeling of anxiety to hangxiety? Hangover anxiety, just feeling a bit crappy the day after drinking. Maybe don't drink on work nights. But alas, I digress. I'm feeling a bit anxious right now. There's just been a lot of feelings around imposter syndrome and inadequacy, and my ego definitely took a bit of a hit last week because I spent all of last week on an incident that we've had that's basically involved confidential data potentially ending up in locations where it shouldn't be, to just summarize it. So, not the best. We've had to get cyber involved. It's been a bit of a critical incident. Had to fix things up. And it's not even my fault. Not that we should be playing the blame game and pointing fingers, but I didn't cause it. I'm just the one fixing it. I was the one who found the problem, and I'm the one fixing the problem. And just the pressure of having so many eyes on me around an issue. I guess it's the feeling of not wanting to disappoint anyone. Anyways, it's 10 o'clock. I've got to go start my training. Let's push all these feelings away deep down and bury them for a little bit and not think about it. Today is just one of those days. Sometimes you've just got to spend your break lying down. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. You feel as though that at any moment you're going to get found out as a fraud, like you don't belong where you are and you only got there through dumb luck. So, what are the characteristics of imposter syndrome? Some of the common signs of imposter syndrome may include an inability to realistically assess your competence and skills. So basically, you might actually be pretty good at something, but you don't realize it. Attributing your success to external factors. Saying you just got lucky getting a job offer, berating your performance, so I guess just being self-deprecating, fear that you won't live up to expectations, overachieving, sabotaging your own success, self-doubt, and setting very challenging goals and feeling disappointed when you fall short. Basically, I've been feeling this way a lot recently, and it's something I definitely need to work on. Like, I've been having a lot of thoughts of questioning why I was even hired, just doubting my skills. And as a result, the past 2 weeks, I've had quite a few nights where I've been working late at night. And I guess that there's often a time and place for working some extra hours, but where do you draw the line? If no one's asking me to work extra hours and I'm just making myself do it because I feel like I have to, maybe there's some work I need to do in just learning to step away. And if a project is behind schedule, that's not my fault that we don't have enough resources, and I shouldn't be forcing myself to work overtime unnecessarily. But then if the reason I'm working overtime is because I just feel like I'm inadequate, and I need to work the extra hours to do the work that I could have outputted in a normal 8-hour day, then there's some mental blockage going on here. There's some things I need to work on. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this train of thought. I guess it's just something I wanted to talk about on the internet because I think it's something that a lot of people go through at some points in their life, and part of this channel is just encapsulating aspects of my life. So here we are. This is me dealing with some intense imposter syndrome.
Take a train ride just to see you.
So this training that I'm doing today was a very last minute choice that I got sucked into or nominated for. And maybe this is part of why I do feel a bit fraudulent and phony-ish at the moment in my self-perception. It was initially going to be my boss, but he was going to be busy and couldn't make it. He then nominated someone else on my team to take the training. And then on Friday, today's Monday, that team member then also had to pull out of this training. So I got very, very last minute asked if I could take the spot, since like there's a spot available, someone on our team should do it. And I know there's no point overthinking that, like I am a junior. I'm like the most junior member of my team. What do I expect? Like I'm sitting in this training like I wasn't meant to be here. I wasn't the first choice for this. What am I doing? Okay, pretend you know what you're talking about. So that's my headspace. It's interesting though, the training is for a particular tool which is used for CDC, which stands for Change Data Capture. Bum, bum, bum. It's just a tool that you can use for moving data from A to B. And what's interesting to me, as I'm in the process of learning about how to use this tool, is that this isn't software engineering, this is data engineering. Then you have me wondering, okay, so my job title is Junior Software Engineer, but I'm learning all about data engineering concepts and ETL pipelines, and we have a very data focus with our team's work. So am I a data engineer? However, we do apply a lot of software engineering principles into our work. We do a lot of programming beyond just using, drag and drop tools. And we also have a platform that we've built ourselves and we manage it. So we have APIs, we have a UI that's built in React. So all that is very much software engineering. So I guess it's a mix of both realms. Anyways, I don't know. It's interesting to me because when I was at uni, I had never even heard of a data engineer. Like I was only considering software engineering roles. And here I am doing work that I didn't even know was a thing. I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about software engineers versus data engineers. What's the difference? Let's figure it out together because I'm still learning. Unfortunately, I think my little 15-minute break is almost up and I've got to go back to the training. I feel like I'm back at uni again because listening to this instructor, I'm sorry, but the moment they start speaking, it's like there's a switch that flicks in my brain and suddenly I get really sleepy. You can do it. Persevere. Finish that coffee. Let's go. Day 1 of 2 days of training is finished and it is dark outside. Winter be like that sometimes.
Who described good food as gnarly? And how Uncle Roger described Auntie Helen? Gnarly. What I'm gonna do now.
Alright, so some final thoughts on imposter syndrome. A bit more context about my personal experience with feeling this way, as I think it first heavily dawned upon me during my first internship through my own comparison of myself against all the other interns. One had perfect grades, one was captain of the something something society, this guy also interned at Google, and like I'm over here thinking, why am I here? How did I get picked for this? I don't even compare to any of these other interns, which is a dangerous way to be thinking. What's that saying? Comparison is the thief of joy. I did receive some great advice though at that internship, and I always think back to it whenever I'm in these imposter syndrome, self-doubt mindsets or slumps. And basically what had happened is I did a presentation to my team at the end of my internship, and in my presentation I was using a lot of vocabulary that was kind of undermining my work and being a bit apologetic and going, oh, sorry about this, as I, go to the next slide, and going, oh yeah, but blah blah blah, and just not having great confidence in what I'd been doing, and just making the assumption that it wasn't going to be perceived well and being apologetic for it. ahead of time without actually receiving any negative feedback to suggest that would be the case. If that makes sense. And what ended up happening is one of the more senior engineers at the company pulled me aside later that day into a private room to just kind of give me a bit of words of wisdom. And he told me that he noticed some of the things I'd been saying and was basically telling me to have more confidence in myself. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but the main message he gave me is he looked me in my eyes and said something along the lines of, "Have you received any negative feedback?" And I said no. And he was like, "Exactly." That's not exactly how it went. This was years ago. I don't remember the exact conversation, but the overarching point was, don't sell yourself short and undermine yourself and just assume how others are going to perceive you because, you know, that's how you perceive yourself. And it's about separating your personal feelings from the facts. And your personal feelings with your insecurities and whatever, and all these imposter syndrome thoughts, like, you can acknowledge they're there, but also separate it from the facts. And the fact is, you know, we offered you this internship. We want you here. We've enjoyed having you on our team. We like the work that you've been doing. You know, you've received positive feedback A, B, and C. At least in my case, there weren't really any hard-hitting facts to justify all of the thoughts I had about myself. And I just try to think back on this a lot. Even in my current role now, I've been with this company for over a year. And so far, I have not received any negative feedback about anything. I've had a fair few good jobs, nice works. That was a great demo. My performance review was met expectations, which, I mean, that's pretty average, but like, you know, nothing negative. There was literally no negative thing about it. So I guess this sums up a bit of my rambles and thoughts about imposter syndrome, particularly as a woman in tech. I guess it definitely adds to those feelings, being a minority when you're the only female in a room. That's another layer that adds to these kinds of internal struggles. And I don't have all the wisdom and answers and solutions to overcoming imposter syndrome. And I mean, you know, even though I say, "Oh, hey Steph, you haven't actually received any negative feedback," there's still anxiousness that it's coming. You know, I'm a junior. People have been nice to me so far. But at a certain point, they're gonna realize I don't know what I'm doing. It takes a lot of work to get out of that mindset and have some confidence in your capabilities. I don't know, I'm just talking to myself at this point, trying to convince myself of that. I hope maybe this discussion was useful to one person out there, because at the end of the day, I think pretty much everyone, at least at some point, has strongly felt this way. And then if more people share their feelings about this and share feeling this way in different environments, we'll all start to realize that if everyone sees themselves as an imposter, then nobody is. But drumroll. And on that note, I will end the video there. Thank you for following me along on my day, where I did nothing at all besides just sit at a computer and in between sessions of working, just talk to myself at the camera. Still time to go to the gym, or I can just lie on the couch and play some video games. It is cold and wet and rainy outside, and as I said before, it's just one of those days. And I am now rambling again, getting sidetracked. I just wanted to say thanks for watching. And if there's anyone out there watching this who is literally me from like 5 years ago, just remember that pretty much everyone around you feels the same way, and you deserve to be where you are. Have a good day. Bye.